Okay, so it's time to activate some animations. You should have 3 characters. Enter the camera on them. We're gonna ignore the cameras for now. Actually, let's see what happens. Which means we might not be able to see all of the animations, but we'll figure that out. So, what you may or may not have noticed that the characters came with extra stuff. Okay, and so some of that stuff is textures that it needs to decorate itself. And then you can see that there's a little playable thing in each one. That's actually the animation. For some reason, my walker or my runner has 2 of them. And actually, if you click it and bring this thing up here, you can have a preview of what it looks like. So this is the one I actually want to use when he's walking. And you can see that this is my boxer, so I can preview that here. And so basically what we need to do is get these activated for each of our characters. And there's a lot of other stuff that goes with it, when it should animate, etc. Today we're just going to have it animate on a loop every time it starts, or every time the game starts, which isn't going to work for one of mine, but that's okay. So here's the deal. I'm going to click one of my characters. And no, I actually need to click it in the scene. Okay, so here's my runner. You can see that the runner came with an Animator controller. I think that happened from Mixamo. If for some reason you don't see an Animator here, you can go to Add Component, whoops, and type anim. Whoops, you have to spell it right though for it to show up. So you need the Animator component. Once you have that, it shows you that it doesn't have a controller. So we need to make a controller. I'm going to make my controller in my characters folder. So if I right click my character folder and I go to create, one of our options is to create an Animator controller. The icon for that is like a little sheet with 4 boxes on it. I'm going to make one for each. So I'm going to call this runner controller. And I'll do the same step, right click, create Animator controller, and I will write lifter controller. And then I'm gonna right click again, go to create again, and come down to Animator controller again. So now, call that boxer controller. So now I have a controller available to each character. I haven't used it yet, so there's still no control in there. And I also haven't assigned them to each of the characters. So I'm going to do that now. When I click my runner, who is over there on the treadmill, I'm going to take the controller I just created, my runner controller, I'm going to drop it right there. Okay, so now it has a controller, which means I am that much closer to getting that guy animated. Same thing with the lifter. Click your lifter character. Mine's over in the corner on the bench. And I'm going to take that controller I just made and drop it in there. And then I'm going to click my boxer character. And then I'm going to take my boxer controller and click it there. Then I'm going to check my first one. Okay, so they're all matched up. So the runner has a runner controller, the lifter has a lifter controller, and the boxer has the boxer controller. So again, there's still no animation, but you need to see what these controllers look like. So I'm going to double click this boxer controller. Try to make that thinner. That's good. An animator window opens. I can scroll to zoom in and out. And you can pan to move around. But so basically this is where you can give commands to how an animation should work. But I still don't have any animation in here. What I have is situations where my animation could take place. As soon as I add an animation, you're going to see it hook itself to entry. So now here's the cool thing. You just got to remember which is which. So I am in my boxer controller. I can see that right here. And so I'm going to want to be opening the asset of my boxer controller. And I know it's this one because it says body jab. So if I open that, and if I'm not sure, remember I can click here and I will see it. So this is my body jab cross animator. I can drag that right here. And it automatically assumes I want to do that as soon as I enter my scene. And I don't think we'll be able to see it right now. Since this is the guy we're going to see, because it's the smart camera that's taken over right now, well, we'll do this for each. So right now, when I enter, my boxer's going to do a body jab cross. So let me collapse that. And then I'm going to go back to my lifter, and I'm going to double click the lifter controller. And again, I can see that I'm on the lifter controller here. And my lifter controller animation, I happen to remember, is called Kip Up. But again, if I'm not sure, I can play a preview there. So this one's going to look weird, but that's okay. This is how we learn. So I'm going to drag that in there, and just like it did with the other one, it assumes I want that to happen on entry. I'm going to close this one. I'm going to go to my runner. I'm going to double click my runner controller. Then I'm the last one must be this one called Hip Hop Dance. I don't know if you remember, but my boxer came with two different animations. The hip hop dancing is basically the one where it really only his arm moves. Whereas this one called Mixamo is a walking in place. Okay, so I'm going to take that Mixamo one and put it here. And that automatically attached to my entry. So I'm going to go back to scene. I'm actually going to save. And I'm going to hit play. I don't think we're only going to see this lift up one right now because it's the only camera we're seeing. And I don't think we see it in the scene view. It takes a while. There. Oh, we are seeing each one. You can see my boxers going, you can see my runners going, and you can see this lifter guy's getting up repeatedly, which isn't hugely effective. As a matter of fact, I didn't turn something off. You can see that all of my animations are looping. Okay, so it doesn't just do the jab step once, it's doing it over and over. It's quite likely yours only happening once, because I practiced this before and didn't turn that feature off. In fact, I think I'm going to turn off the looping of this one because that's kind of ridiculous. So I'm going to stop this. And you can see over here, it's still remembering my Mixamo animation preview that I was looking at. And you can see my loop time and loop pose have been checked. And probably with yours, let me do this to the lifter first. For your lifter, you're not going to see it in here, and it's not part of the animator. It's actually part of the features within this. So I'm going to go to the Kip Up, and I'm going to click that Kip Up animation, and you can see that's been told to loop and a loop pose. So I'm going to click Edit, and I'm going to scroll down a little bit, and I'm going to take off the loop time, which will automatically deselect that. If I apply that, it did a little update, and now you'll watch when I run this, when that animation stands up, he's going to stay standing. Okay? Whereas my boxer and my runner are happily boxing and running. I know it's harder to see right now. And that happened because if I go back and open my body jab cross, and in the inspector then click Edit, I had come down here and I clicked loop time, and then I clicked loop pose, and then I clicked apply. Apply's not active for me because it was already on, but it will be active for you. And again, if I go to my runner, which was called Mixamo, those are also ticked on, but for you, you're probably going to have to click into edit and tick these two things and apply. Well, let me show you. Let me do that to hip hop dancing. So, oh, hip hop dancing has it too. But that's how you get into loop them. You have to come into the animation feature, which is in assets. And once it's ticked there, I turned this one off, so that was a better one. Once it's ticked in there, it will loop every time you do it. So this isn't exactly what we want. However, it's nice to see the animation turned on finally. So you can see from my window here, if I go in and look at runner, you can see his animation is looped. The boxer's animation is looped. And rightfully, the lifter, I made the sense to not lift that up. So that is part one of bringing your mini little movie online. So I'm going to stop here and then I'll come back with a third video, another video to show you how to animate the cameras so that you can go from one to the next. Okay, see you then.